Hello there. Welcome back to our Secret Agents Holiday Club. I guess if it is secret, I probably should take off this hat or I'll get found out. We've been looking at clues. Clues this week to find out who Jesus is. Is he good or is he bad? Is he the king? Is he powerful? Is he for us or against us? Today, we're going to look at Jesus. Is he a criminal? Or is he actually the rescuer? That's going to be what our story is about later today. And we're going to be doing a craft to look at that as well. And we're going to sing some songs. Some of our songs need a little bit more action, so I think. So please send in some videos so that we can have action-packed songs for tomorrow. Have a listen and enjoy them. And a little later on, we'll do our story on our craft. See you guys later.
Oh, he's drawing.
Oh, I know what it is, Bill.
It's the hat. This is the Secret Agent.
Yeah, we're like secret agents this week, aren't we?
Uncovering the truth, looking through Luke's gospel, finding out what the eyewitnesses really said, what they really saw, finding out the secret.
Doing big thinking, having clever thoughts, which I thought I had once, but it just turned out to be wind.
I know, it's not wind. He's thinking about today's mission.
Oh, which are hula hoops.
Oh, rings.
Bracelets?
With chains.
Chains?
Chains with bracelets and rings and handcuffs.
Handcuffs?
Yes.
Was Jesus a criminal? How could he be?
He was treated like a criminal.
Maybe he is a criminal. Maybe we've got him wrong, Bill.
And there's another podgy ring.
Like a balloon.
No, it's a life ring.
What's a life ring?
Lifeguards use them at the swimming pool to rescue people.
Do we need rescuing then?
That's what we're finding out. Which is he? Today, he may be the king.
So is Jesus a criminal or a rescuer?
That's what we're finding out.
Oh.
If I were a real police officer, I'd have some of these handcuffs for getting criminals, locking them up, and getting them where they belong. Now, in our story today, there are some criminals and there's some innocent people. Well, one innocent person. And I want you to watch out for them. How do the criminals behave? Can you tell me how many criminals there were? One of them mocked Jesus. What did he say? One of them looked at Jesus and realized something important. What did he realize about Jesus? Especially when he asked him to remember him. And what did it mean for Jesus to remember this criminal? What did Jesus promise this criminal who was getting what he deserved? Have a listen carefully to the story and see if you can find out the answers.
To declare his praise. If God brought the mountains and he filled the sea, God must be great, great enough for me to fully trust him. When the going gets tough, yeah, we can trust him. God is able enough to keep us standing, whatever may come our way. Our God's unfailing, from the first to the last, he's never changing. Present and past, our God's amazing, and we can put our trust in him. trust Him. God is able enough to keep us standing, whatever may come our way. Our God's unfailing, from the first to the last, He's never changing. Future, present, and past, our God's amazing, and we can put our trust in Him. Love when Jesus died for me. Death with my sin, I got His guarantee. If God proved it all when Jesus rose again, God must be great, really great, so then we ought to trust Him. When the going is tough, yeah, we can trust Him. God is able enough to keep us standing, whatever may come our way. Our God's unfailing, from the first to the last, He's never changing. Future, present, and past, our God's amazing, and we can put our trust in Him. Yeah, we can trust Him. When the going is tough, yeah, we can trust Him. God is able enough to keep us standing, whatever may come our way. Our God's unfailing, from the first to the last, He's never changing. Future, present, and past, our God's amazing, and we can put our trust in Him. Every word of your word is true. They were all breathed out by you. Your spirit wrote through men like a pen in the hand of a God who knew that we would need to know how much you love us so. You wrote it down for us forever. Oh, from Genesis to Revelation, there's one story of your great salvation. It's all about Jesus, oh, it's all about Jesus. Shout it out from every page. There's one hero that'll save the day. It's all about Jesus, oh, it's all about Jesus. Every word of your word gives light, like the sun that shines so bright. It leads us day by day to the one, the way, the truth, the life. And every time we read, you give us what we need to grow in grace and know you better. Oh, from Genesis to Revelation, there's one story of your great salvation. It's all about Jesus, oh, it's all about Jesus. Shout it out from every page. There's one hero that'll save the day. It's all about Jesus, oh, it's all about Jesus. From Genesis to Revelation, there's one story of your great salvation. It's all about Jesus, oh, it's all about Jesus. Shout it out from every page. There's one hero that'll save the day. It's all about Jesus, oh, it's all about Jesus. Whoa, oh, 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 whoa, oh, oh, whoa, oh, 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 whoa, oh, oh. If you walk on water, you can walk beside the beam. If you heal the blind man, you can make me see. If you make the lame to walk, if you calm the seas, I will follow you with all of thee. I'm singing Jesus, Jesus. saved my soul. You gave my heart new life, and now I know that when my life gets hard, I know just what to do. I will follow you. I will follow you. I will follow you. I will follow you. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. Whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. Whoa, oh, oh. If you walk on water, you can walk beside me. If you heal the blind, then you can make me see. If you make the lame to walk, if you calm the sea, I'll follow you with all of me. I will follow you with all of me. I'm singing Jesus, Jesus, you saved my soul. You gave my heart new life, and now I know that when my life gets hard, I know just what to do. I will follow you. I will follow you. I will follow you. I will follow. You've got power over sickness. You've got power over pain. You've got power over nature. You've got power in your name. You are stronger than temptation. You are stronger than my sin. You are strong enough to save us, 'cause you died and rose again. You are patient. You are loving. You are faithful. You are true. You came down to give us life. Now we live to follow you. Jesus, Jesus, you saved my soul. You gave my heart new life, and now I know that when my life gets hard, I know just what to do. I will follow you. I will follow. Jesus, Jesus, you saved my soul. You gave my heart new life, and now I know that when my life gets hard, I know just what to do. I will follow you. I will follow you. I will follow you. I will follow. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. Whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. Whoa, oh, oh.
Two other men, both criminals, were also led out with him to be executed. When they came to the place called the Skull, they crucified him there, along with the criminals, one on his right and the other on his left. Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." And they divided up his clothes by casting lots. The people stood watching, and the rulers even sneered at him. They said, "He saved others, let him save himself if he is God's Messiah, the chosen one." The soldiers also came up and mocked him. They offered him wine vinegar and said, "If you are the king of the Jews, save yourself." There was a written note above him which read, "This is the king of the Jews." One of the criminals who hung there hurled insults at him. "Aren't you the Messiah? Save yourself and us." But the other criminal rebuked him. "Don't you fear God," he said, "since you are under the same sentence. We are punished justly, for we are getting what our deeds deserve, but this man has done nothing wrong." Then he said, "Jesus, remember me when you are come into your kingdom." Jesus answered him, "Truly, I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise." It was now about noon, and darkness came over the whole land until 3 in the afternoon. For the sun stopped shining, and the curtain of the temple was torn in two. Jesus called out with a loud voice, "Father, into your hands I commit my spirit." And when he said this, he breathed his last. The centurion, seeing what happened, praised God and said, "Surely this was a righteous man." When all the people who had gathered to witness this saw what took place, they beat their breasts and went away. But all those who knew him, including the woman who had followed him from Galilee, stood at a distance watching these things.
God's story, Jesus. So part of God's story, actually the biggest part of God's story, is about how he sent us a rescuer. And it goes like this. Way back in the beginning, God created a perfect world, and he made it exactly the way he wanted. It was full of good things like oceans and mountains and giraffes and jellyfish. There was no sickness or sadness or death, and he made people, Adam and Eve, to live in his perfect world with him forever. People were God's favorite creation. In fact, he called everything he made good, but he called people very good. Then something awful happened. They disobeyed God, and then that's when all the wrong things in the world began. Now, even though people disobeyed God, he loves us more than anything. So God planned a rescue. One day, he would send his son to rescue his family from all the wrong things in the world. That way, we could be close to God again. God's family was so excited about this rescuer. They waited hundreds and hundreds of years. They thought the rescuer would be a mighty king or maybe a powerful warrior. Imagine their surprise when the rescuer was born as a little baby. It was Jesus. It wasn't what they had expected, but it was exactly what God had planned. Jesus was completely human, but also completely God. That means he was perfect and never did anything wrong. He ate and slept and had friends, just like you and me, but he could also do incredible things that only God can do. And when he was all grown up, he was ready to show the whole world that he was God's son. When Jesus was an adult, he started traveling and doing miracles. A miracle is something amazing that can only happen with God's help. And Jesus did lots of miracles. He went to a party and turned water into wine. He fed 5,000 hungry people with just 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. He calmed a raging storm by telling it to stop. He walked on water. He healed people everywhere he went. He made blind people see and paralyzed people walk. He touched the sick and made their diseases disappear. He even brought a dead man back to life. And he told people that he could do all of this because he was the Son of God. Jesus didn't just heal people on the outside, he healed them on the inside too. He forgave their sins. That means they didn't have to be punished for their wrong choices. Instead, they could follow Jesus. Some people didn't like what Jesus was doing. They didn't believe he was the Son of God. And even after all the miracles Jesus did, like healing the sick and making blind people see, they still didn't believe him. They actually wanted Jesus to die. And that's exactly what happened. Jesus had to suffer and die on a cross, even though he had never done anything wrong. When Jesus died on the cross, God's family was brokenhearted. The rescuer was gone. They wondered how they would ever be close to God again. But then, something incredible happened.
I have a few choices for you to make. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Now, you guys can play along at home and shout out your answers, but Molly will be pointing to which choice she'll make. This is high stakes stuff. Would you rather sweeties or chocolate? Sweeties? Okay. Would you rather football or swimming? Swimming? Okay. Would you rather ready salted crisps or cheese and onion? Ready salted? Good choices. Now, most of our decisions don't really matter every day. We make them every day, but a lot of them don't really matter. We're going to talk about a choice that's probably the most important choice you'll ever make. Now, in our story, we learned about 3 people on the cross. We learned about 2 criminals, this guy and this guy, not to be confused with pirates. Maybe to be confused with pirates. To be put on a cross, you had to do something really terrible. The worst possible imaginable thing. They were the worst criminals you could think of. Their hearts would have been really messy and full of sin. It would have looked like this. And we've been learning this week that sin is a big problem, isn't it? Sin's a big problem because it separates us from God. If God is as good and perfect and holy as he says he is and as the Bible says he is, then he can't have anything to do with sin. So long as you've got sin in your heart, you have to be separate from God. That's a big problem for us, isn't it? Because all of us have sin in our hearts. All of us do things we're not really meant to do, don't we? Now, Jesus, the third person on the cross, never once sinned. Isn't that amazing? He made his entire way through his life without making any sin at all. And that's because he was God. He was perfect and good. He spoke words of encouragement. We learned about how he managed to heal people whose legs weren't working. He managed to let them help them heal again. He managed to raise someone from the dead. He was a good person. And even with all of that going on, there were some angry people who just didn't like Jesus. And they were the leaders of the church. Did you know that? Now, do you have anyone that's looking a bit angry, Molly? Oh, yes. A very angry, cross-looking rabbit, wouldn't you agree? Let's pretend, for the story, that this is actually a leader of the church. Now, a leader of the synagogue. Now, at the time, he said, let's put Jesus on the cross. They were beginning to feel a bit threatened by Jesus. If Jesus was around and if Jesus was really God, it meant that he didn't have as much control as he liked. So he said, let's put him on the cross. So even though Jesus's heart was pure like this and without any blemish at all, up they went and put him up there. And not only that, whilst poor Jesus was dying on the cross, they were shouting things at him and taunting him. They shouted things like, if you're really God, why don't you just jump down and save yourself? And that's what one of the criminals said. Let's say this criminal, Molly. This one here.
Can you put it in here?
No.
In there.
If you're really God, then just save yourself and take me down too. That's what he said. He didn't care that his heart looked like this, all messy. He just wanted to save himself and live longer. That's not very good, is it? Whereas the other criminal said, what's happening right now isn't nice at all, but it is fair. We're bad people. We deserve to be on the cross. So Jesus said to him, today, because you have recognized your sin and put your trust in me, I will see you in heaven. So even though that this person died, he gave his sin to Jesus. Now, Jesus dying on the cross wasn't the end of the story. Whilst people like these people thought it meant that they got more control, this was all actually part of God's big rescue plan. See, whilst Jesus was on the cross, he took on all of our sin. He took all of it. I know. So that means that all of it was gone. Even though we don't deserve it, even though we don't deserve to be with God, because a lot of us sin time and time again, we get to be with God because Jesus took it all. And not only that, he defeated it. Our big choice today is whether we choose to give our sin to Jesus, whether we choose to live a life with him, a life of joy and eternal life, or whether we choose to hold on to our sin because it's uncomfortable to say sometimes. Sometimes we don't like to admit the fact that we've done naughty things. Sometimes we don't like to admit the fact that we have to give and trust someone else. But if we do, if we make that choice to trust Jesus and to give him all of our sin, it might just be the best decision that we've ever made. Now, you can pray and become a Christian today. Being a Christian doesn't mean that we're perfect by any means. Just look at me. I'm not perfect at all. Being a Christian means that we've chosen to give our sin to Jesus and have it die on the cross with him. So, you can do that today. You can pray to Jesus and say 3 things. You can say, sorry. I'm sorry for my sin. I'm sorry for the way that I have been and how short of your glory and your love that I've been. You can say thank you. You can say thank you, Jesus, for taking all of this and dying for me. And you can say please. You can say, please take this from me. Please help me. Please help me stray far from sin and be with you forever. It's a big, big choice, but it could be the best choice that you've ever made. Our story today was about the time when Jesus died on the cross. So we're going to make our own cross. We don't need very many things for this today. You need some paper. You need 2 pieces, just 2, and it can be ordinary plain paper or it can be thick craft paper. I chose to do white because I thought that was nice and clean looking. You can use a colour if you like. So first thing to do, you also need some scissors, and you're going to need a ruler, a pencil, some glue, and some pens to colour in at the end. Okay. The first thing, we take our first piece of paper and we're going to fold it in half along the long side, right to the edges. A nice strong fold down the middle. And then open it up again and fold the edge in to meet the middle line that you just made. There we go. Another nice strong fold. And then you can fold the other side in to meet the middle as well. So it looks a little bit like a book, or just a skinny version of the big piece of paper you had. Now, open that up again, and in the middle, we need a ruler. We're going to draw a line with our pencil just across the middle of your 2 sections here. So right across the middle line into the edges of where you made your folds. And I'm going to put the ruler down here and do another one the same. So now I've got 2 lines in the middle of my paper. Still need the ruler. I'm going to make a cross, an X in the middle, from one corner of the line I drew to the other corner. And here's the other side of the X. Join it up. So now it kind of looks like I've drawn a flag in the middle of my paper. What I'm going to do now is turn your paper over, fold it in half again the other way so you can see these little triangles. Now take your scissors and you look at this triangle in the middle and you're going to cut it out. And cut, and then you need to fold it up a wee bit and cut the edge off. There we go. So now when I open it out, I can see through it. Okay, I don't need the scissors anymore. I'm going to fold this back in half, and on one of my edges I'm going to put lots of glue. Okay, some glue. Make it nice and sticky. You want it to stick together quite well, so I would go around the edges as well if you can. And then take the last flap and fold it so that they meet. And make a little, just like a tube now. And then you press it all down so it's nice and secure. The ruler's handy for this. You can push your ruler inside and press it down. There. Now I'm going to straighten up my folds. Okay, now this actually stands up by itself. And I'm going to put it to the side for now. I'll take my next piece of paper and I'm going to make this into a square by folding the triangle off the corner, and then I don't need this bit, so I'm going to cut it off. Quick cut. Don't need that. Okay, open this out again. Now I'm going to fold this the same way as we did before. I'm going to fold it in half. And I'm going to fold it in half again, into the middle, and fold the other side into the middle. And I've got my little folded bit. But this time I'm going to open it up. I'm not going to do any cutting. I'm going to put glue on this edge. I opened it the wrong way. Glue down this edge. And back edge flap onto the gluey flap. So I've made another triangle. I'm going to make sure the glue stuck. Use my ruler again. Squeeze it inside. There we go. Now, I'm going to put these two bits together. This was in here. Open this up. Slide this in. So the triangles hold it together. And now, we've made a cross. It's a bit funny sometimes to think of making a cross as a decoration, isn't it? Because a cross was where criminals were put to die. But Christians like to have crosses because it reminds them of the sacrifice Jesus made, but it also reminds them that the cross is empty and it's a sign of Jesus' victory. So I'm going to decorate my cross. I'll show you this one I did before. I decorated it with lots of spring flowers to remind me of new life and victory over death and darkness. So I'll get some pens, and it's easy to draw some spring flowers. Just did lots of squiggles, but you can decorate it with any beautiful things you can think of. And some blue. Knocked it over. If you use strong paper, it actually stands up really well. But I just used ordinary paper. A cross to remind us that Jesus died, but that he's not on the cross anymore.
Oh, he's drawing. I know that hat anywhere.
It's our secret agent, isn't it, Bill?
It is. Look, I wonder what he's going to be looking like today with his funny eyes.
He's our man, isn't he?
Finding out the truth, looking in the Bible, working out who Jesus really is and what he's done. We've learnt so much today.
Yeah, we've had a lot of answers to our questions, haven't we?
But look, I think he looks worried. He's got no legs.
No legs, that's pretty serious.
Oh, he's stuck in something.
What is it, squirty cream? Oh, imagine being stuck in squirty cream. A whole swimming pool of it, gulping it down.
No, there's a sign saying what it is. He's stuck in sin. Oh, no one can get themselves out of sin. We're all stuck in it.
Here comes that giant hand to help him, though. Loving that hand. Looks like he's got some kind of reaching stick.
Oh, he's reaching down with the cross.
Oh, with the cross.
That's how Jesus rescues us from sin.
Oh, yes.
He did it on the cross. Isn't that great? The cross is the rescue for us stuck in sin. Loving that.
Yeah.
Now, tricky bit. Jesus has now been arrested and killed on the cross. Why?
Got it. Well, Jesus died for us on the cross. For us, didn't he, Bill? So that we could be safe forever.
Great!
Oh, yes!
Good detective work today, guys. I think we found out some really, really important things about Jesus. He was killed like a criminal, but he was actually innocent. But it wasn't a pointless death. His death really matters, because by his death, he became our rescuer if we trust in him. Now, after this, there's going to be a fun song that my little boy made up. I think it's pretty great. I hope you enjoy it too. And don't forget to send in your own action videos. Or if, like my boy, you've decided to make up a song, that'll be fun to see too. So send them all in. See you again tomorrow. Bye.
You're talking me.
Okay.
Jesus died upon the cross to save us, to save us. Jesus died upon the cross to save us, to save us.
Jesus died upon the cross to save us. What did he save us from?
He saved us from sin,
And what is sin?
badness, and disobeying God.
Badness and disobeying God. Who does that?
I don't know. Do you?
Who do you think?
I don't know.
Is it just other people?
Other people.
Or is it you and me too?
You and me too.
Is it?
Yeah, everyone.
Everyone? So all of us need
Jesus,
to...
forgive us.
Yeah.
Jesus died upon the cross. Then the soldiers took him down. Then he got put into a tomb. Then the soldiers fell asleep. And an angel rolled away the stone. And Jesus came back to life.
Yeah.
That was louder.
Yes.
That's the last.